Welcome back to Bestow TV, and Bestow TV is another year older. We're celebrating Bestow TV's birthday. So come on, everybody, let's sing along. Happy day to you. Yeah. Bestow TV are the thing. I don't. The company. Is it a company? I don't know. The place, the YouTube place that houses all of our junk, our junk keepers, the place that we are now 9 and or 10 years old. I'm bringing back that joke from Sleepless Knights. We are 9 and or 10 years old. Reason why I say and or 10 years old. This is going off of YouTube statistics. They sent me a thing saying, congratulations, Bestow TV is now 9 years old on YouTube. When in actuality, it's actually closer to 10 years. We spent a single year on my own personal channel before I decided, hey, let's split this up. Let's not have these all mixed together. Let's keep the peanut butter on one side and the chocolate on the other. Years ago, I've had a fan or two request that I do a kind of like a history of Bestow TV, and at one time it was going to be like a Patreon exclusive thing because I'm like, not everybody's going to want to hear about that or whatever. Well, here we go. It never became a Patreon thing, so now it's going to become probably the least listened to episode on our podcast. Here's to that one fan. Here you go. Enjoy, Brian. So where do I start with Bestow TV? I mean, I guess I could start with Bestow Productions. At one point in time, I wanted to do a kind of a TV series, whether it be independent on the interwebs or public access or whatever. Just kind of have a entertainment publishing entity. But I did have Bestow Productions, which actually did television commercials. Produced television commercials for several years in the local area. And at one point in time, I got a chance to kind of flex my muscles a little bit. I had a trade agreement with one of the distributors that I was working with, and to air some television commercials, and they're like, whatever you want to put up there, barring whatever FCC regulations wouldn't allow me to do. When I was doing commercials, I wanted to do things that were more creative based. Now, granted, not every client needs something that's, not every client is crazy Eddie and is bouncing off the walls and wants to do comedic things. But I did have a handful of people that did allow me to do funny commercials or allowed me to do stuff that was had a little bit of a comedic tone to it. So when I got a chance to use this credit that I have accumulated, I decided to do a Bestow. This is probably like the origins of Bestow TV, where I produced ads that actually promoted Bestow Productions, but kind of showed off our what we did on a creative level. Very, very out there. Very. I don't know. I can't compare it to Too Many Cooks. I mean, Too Many Cooks is just, that's in a different league. But basically, it was a fake weight loss series of videos. And basically, if you followed the web page, now of course, FCC regulations, I had to have the disclaimer up there. There is a disclaimer saying, that this isn't a real weight loss thing. Very much a parody of Subway commercials. Matter of fact, it was Purseway, Eat Fist, which I think was at the time was Subway Eat Fresh. Purseway was that they would persuade you from not eating. You would be assigned a person to help with weight loss, they would just persuade you by not eating and use like any tactic possible. And this aired. This got television time. This got played on television, and like I said, I got to flex the Bestow TV end of it, not the Bestow Productions, because I at that time even knew where it's like I wanted, Bestow Productions was the commercial entity and Bestow TV was like the more creative, production oriented. Like, well, I don't want to say production because commercials is production as well, but like more long form than short form. Like the commercials were very short form. A lot of we did a lot of stuff for television, a lot of stuff that was stripped out for radio, a lot of stuff that was, a few things that were kind of worked in conjunction where they could pull for print, use some of the images for print. One case where a video I shot was stilled frame by frame. Well, not even, I didn't even shoot it. It was video that was provided to me, and I had to still every single frame because they planned to put a mural on the wall of every single frame of this car accident from this was a NASCAR car accident, because I guess they had the car hanging in the restaurant, and they just wanted plaster a mural of this, and that was the Bestow Productions thing. I don't think they ever did it, because I remember going to the restaurant and I never saw any of that anywhere. I saw the car, but I never saw the mural. But whatever. It was a job. I wanted to show that we did creative and silly things, and it might have actually been to a degree where it might have been too serious that nobody really took it seriously. But Persway used to take you to a side site. I don't think it's active anymore. This is an old. This is old internet. I remember writing lines of code to make this work. The idea was that the television spots that I could only run 30 seconds. If you went to the URL, you got treated to. You could watch I think it was over a minute long. It might have actually been 3 minutes long, where you got to see everything in its entirety, and you read on the site, that we were an ad agency at the time. And there was a 60-second spot, which I could never run on television because, usually the cutoff was 30 seconds. They didn't like to run 60 seconds, and the returns were never really all that great for 60 seconds. It's a shame, because a lot of clients want 60 seconds because you can say a whole lot more in 60 seconds. You can't say a lot in 30 seconds. And a lot of people try. They try to say anything and everything they could. Even if you have compressed voice, and they end up talking like this because you got to get it all in there in 30 seconds. You got to get the Micro Machines guy. I can't think of his name, but you got to get him in there to read the script. So the 30 seconds ran on TV, 60 seconds ran on. Now get ready for this. The 60-second spot ran on MySpace. If you went to the Bestow Productions MySpace, you could watch this 60 seconds. I believe Facebook might have been in its infancy. There might have been a Bestow. I think I have a Bestow Productions page. Well, actually, I know I have a Bestow Productions page, because what happened was that MySpace was my personal page, and that's where all anything I talked about was personally. And Facebook, if you ever go to my Facebook page, it's /Bestow Productions, was supposed to be all just business related, and then times change, and Bestow Productions is now my personal space, and I have the fan pages for Bestow TV. I don't think I have a fan page for Bestow Productions. I think I still treat my own personal page as kind of both. But yeah, you got to see the 60 seconds on the early days of the internets of Facebook and MySpace, when I started actually doing Bestow TV stuff that I decided was not Bestow Productions but Bestow TV. That all went on my personal personal YouTube channel. But a lot of the stuff on the personal YouTube channel were things that, if there was a production I was proud of or whatever, I got the okay from the client, then I can use it on YouTube. The client, in exchange, client can embed that in their webpage if they wanted to. That's no big deal. Monetization wasn't necessarily a thing back then, so I wasn't really making money off of running other people's ads on MySpace, but it was just it was a space to collect my demo reel, I guess you could say. And I believe most of it's still active. It's kind of surprised, because every now and then I pop in there and see what's going on, see how it's working, and I'll be surprised to see there's this furniture store ad that's all of a sudden a high amount of views for whatever reason. And I don't think it ever really did anything. Like I said, I don't think it ever really brought more business to Bestow TV. I don't think it ever, when I sat down with client meetings, I don't think it really really like I don't think I was able to use it to sway people, or persuade people, as I should say, into doing more comedy based ads or something that had more imagination to it. I still had like a bunch, I had my crew, my select amount of clients that always loved doing funny stuff, and this is from my experience. This doesn't speak for everybody, but in general, my experience was that you're hired to be the tool for whatever. This guy had an idea and this is what they want to do, and they'll just provide the shot, they'll provide the shots, they'll provide the voiceover, their secretary's writing the script, their son is an aspiring actor, so you're just there to kind of produce, and that's fine, whatever pays the bills for the month. But I had quite a few people who would bring me in. They wanted to do something off the wall. They wanted to do something silly. There was like a couple of them that would have to produce quarterly. They would produce things quarterly, and we'd have to balance it because they were getting sponsorship from whatever national brand they were doing. So we would have to do 50-50 or whatever. 50% of it would have to be this to fulfill the needs of the sponsorship, so that they get free money to produce the funny ads. So we would do stuff like that, and it's kind of fun. Whereas like clients like that would just they'd have to produce something so frequently that they were just like, just bring me what you got. Just bring me just do your thing. I'm hiring you. You do your thing. And it's where I just got to go nuts and do whatever I wanted, and it was a great time. I mean, and stuff worked. I mean, there was quite a few ads where they said, they come in, they talk to them, they're like, oh, I've seen this, this you did an ad where you acted like you had this celebrity because this celebrity was endorsing some sort of product that was in the store. So you had the cardboard cutout of that celebrity in the store, and we were promoting it as if the celebrity was actually there and an employee. And I remember I had to wear clothing that was similar to what that celebrity was wearing, shove my face into a photocopier, hit record on the camera and struggle and look like I'm being made copies of as this employee. And he's kind of like, I think the guy's kind of like saying, he's a great worker, and we've got many of them to spread around to many of the stores and so on and so forth, blah blah blah. I remember him saying a lot of like, oh, I remember this because of this guy with his head shoved in the copy machine. There was an ad where a guy was dressed like Elvis and sang Elvis tunes. An ad where a guy used to build his own banjos, and so we made it like we made the ad pretty much like a late night LP, back in the in between areas where LPs were out of fad, but too early for LPs to be back in fad. There used to be television. There used to be like late night commercials where you could buy like these two record sets of the hits of I don't know, this insert singer here. Insert compilation. Usually they're compilation albums, not one singer. Here's the best of the 80s. We did something like that with the guy. He made his own banjo, and he just made parody songs about stuff within the store. So all of his songs had something to do with whatever was in the store. And then we built the ad. You could buy the compilation album on a 2-pack 8-track. So way dead technology. We're not even doing LPs. We're doing 8 tracks. Way dead technology. And people responded to that. They're like, they're in the shop and they're like, where's these 8 tracks? We even considered at one point in time that maybe we should press 8 tracks and just have them in store and available just because. But going back to like the Bestow TV Purseway ads, it was more of a, I just wanted to flex my own creativity. I knew I wasn't really necessarily going to get anything out of it. I had no use for the credits that they were giving me, these ad credits. So I just used them, to have fun, and that was probably the birth of that was the start of Bestow TV. Now we fast forward a little bit, and now on the side, it's like my hobby, my fun thing to do was to go to conventions and get pictures with celebrities and get pictures with comic creators and get autographs and buy toys and stuff. You might see where this is going, because that's kind of tying in the hobby with the job and making it all one thing, and during one of the shows, I frequently had gone to New York Comic Con. Here's another one for the kiddies. Back when you could buy New York Comic Cons the day before and show up and be able to go. Now you have to register like a year in advance, and you. Not sure that exactly justifies the price tag of a ticket, but I'm doing my old man rant, and I need to get out of my old man rant. But anyway, used to go to New York Comic Con, used to buy my ticket like the day before I wanted to go, never had an issue. And we were waiting I was waiting in line for an autograph. I can't remember who. I think it was Jim Lee. I think I was waiting for a Jim Lee autograph. I was getting comics graded and doing the signature series. And I think that, this is a little bit of a tangent, but I wanted to get the Jim Lee autograph, but I also wanted it to be a slabbed signature series, CGC, where it's encased in plastic. And then they grade it and they say, oh yeah, this was autographed, because I thought that doing it that way would be a better way to preserve an autograph. I have autographs. I'm heartbroken because I'm moving stuff. I'm moving stuff from like my old bedroom and everything, and just kind of clearing out. And I'm just discovering autographs that I used to get when I was like in high school, and they're in piss poor condition. Didn't really, they didn't really have like the clamshells like they have now or any of the other things. So it was just kind of thrown in a box and forgotten about. And I found, now I don't know if this is a real signature or if it's one of those where it's a photocopy of, it's a print of the person, and then the signature is a photocopy on top of it. I don't know if it's really his signature or not. I lean towards that it might actually be his signature, because our marching band used to do fundraisers, and they used to do auctions, and there was a guy that was there was a parent that was a part of that, who would always submit autographed materials, and we have quite a bit of like the autographed materials and a lot of these like rare things. Talk about things that kind of shaped who I am today, and kind of like, I want to do this. But as far as like the entertainment, where like we had we have press packets of like different movies, and you got the press releases, and you got photo slicks, and you got like all stuff to promote a film before its actual release. I don't even know if like companies do that. I guess they do that, because I used to do stuff. It used to be, when I used to do like trailers and stuff for the YouTube channel, there was a website, and you could get all the press releases and stuff. You would just sign in, and you would get your press credentials and everything. But back then, these huge packets that they mailed out. So I having like those press credentials, I have a script here that's like signed by which it's a soap opera. Shoot.
Please hold the line.
I have a General Hospital script signed by like the entire cast. Like, this is the stuff that this person used to submit for fundraising, and I'm pretty sure that this autograph we got from like one of these auctions that helped supported the band, and it was an autographed picture. Now again, it could be a real autograph, it could be a photocopy autograph of Mel Blanc, the voice actor for Bugs Bunny and all the Looney Tunes. And, this was something that was gotten in high school. It has tape across the top because it was taped to the wall. It's got pinholes because it was pinned to my wall. And it wasn't really stored properly. So it's got little rips and tears and folds and creases. But it has like Mel Blanc's autograph. And it's just like, this is kind of a sad thing. And the other thing that I found is I had a stack of cards that way back in the day were autographed by Tim and Greg Hildebrandt. And of course, Greg Hildebrand is no longer part of this world anymore. He's moved on. He's got a better gig in the skies. That I mean, I kind of said it like, oh, I'm done. I'm moving on. Now he's passed away, and so that's unfortunate. And then, like I said, these cards weren't really, they were just thrown in a barrel and not really like the signatures kind of faded because I guess they were just on display in rooms that allowed sunlight in, so the autographs faded. But it's a bummer. And if you don't know who Tim and Greg Hildebrand are, look towards like the original Star Wars poster where Princess Leia, Luke's holding the lightsaber over his head and Leia's like caressing his leg. I believe that's the Hildebrand version of Star Wars. They did a lot. They did Lord of the Rings and so on and so forth. But anyway, I did this long offshoot here where I was talking about trying to get an autograph from Jim Lee and trying to do the signature series. And I was waiting in this really huge line, and I had met this guy, Tommy Zimmer, and we hit it off. We talked and stuff. Basically like Tommy, you had to get to this line like at a certain time, like an hour early or whatever, to guarantee that you got the signature. And there would be times where like Tommy would have to go and he'd have to get something or whatever, and I'd just hold his space in the line so he could come back, and vice versa. I don't think I really left the line very often, but if I had to leave the line, he would hold my space. So we got to chatting and talking, and here Tommy was he did comic book interviews, and he was writing for a website, and he interviewed like a lot of the comic creators, and that was kind of why he was there. He was trying to break the ice with Jim Lee via the autograph line, and he was talking about how this was really neat. He would like to really get his words on video. Do something a little bit more than just writing articles. And I said, well, funny you should say that. I'm a guy that does video. And I would like to do more stuff in relation to, more in relation to this hobby, this thing that I like. Maybe it's like if you do the interviews, I have no problem shooting and editing them, and that's kind of how we started Creative Continuity. The next year, it's like you're talking to some stranger in the line, and you're kind of blue skying, and you're just oh, that would be great if only, and knowing that the good chance is like this guy, you'll never hear or see from this guy ever again after the show. He kept in touch afterwards, and shortly thereafter, we started doing what would be the first season of Creative Continuity. And this episode ended up very longer than I expected, but this was the origins of Bestow TV. Like, share, subscribe, eat cheddar cheese in the moonlight, do whatever it takes. Help support this channel in any way. Help us get another 10 years, maybe. Another 10 years and another 1,000 subscribers, I guess. More than 1,000. Come on, more than 1,000 subscribers. But, we'll catch you next time when we talk about creative continuity. Bye-bye.